My name is Petra and I'm a visual artist living in Hamilton, Ontario. I called this exhibition Trees at the Intersection, our symbiotic relationship. And it's kind of a complicated title in a way, but in a way it made a lot of sense to me. It's about trees. I think trees are magnificent. To me, they're engineering miracles. And then I also think about the actual physical intersection between the trunk of the tree, where it touches the ground, how it grows out of the ground. So those are the two reasons I chose that word. And symbiotic is kind of interesting because we're very similar to trees in so many ways. Things like trunks and crowns and branches and limbs, those beautiful, beautiful words that describe trees, but they also describe human bodies. Symbiotic means kind of a mutual relationship, and I think I'm struggling right now because I feel like human beings aren't doing their part in taking care of trees, and they need us to be their voices. So the way I create my pieces is from lots of sketches and references. I always paint trees that I've seen myself and have been able to photograph or sketch. And then in the studio I paint on wooden panels that are primed with something called gesso, and that's sanded several times, so the surface is very, very smooth and it's not porous. And so I start with water-soluble materials like graphite, watercolor, acrylic inks, and I start using lots and lots of water and then adding those pigments to the water. And so in some senses I feel like I don't really paint it. I just kind of like watch it. And so I add things and just kind of like play around a little with brushes, but really the painting just does itself, it paints itself in some ways because the water evaporates and leaves all these beautiful puddles and pools of where the pigment didn't evaporate. Once it's dry, I can set it up and see what I've done, and then I take it from there. But it's kind of a strange process, but I also feel like it's very natural in some ways because rain does that in the forest. It, creates these pockets of things. The rain will evaporate. It'll leave behind interesting things that you can see. So I feel like it's kind of linked to that.
So let's just see it goes here.
I think I would like to say that what I'm really learning in my art practice is this combination of things that have come together. So it's not just going into the studio and producing a painting. There's a lot behind it. So, I've done a lot of reading about trees, and just anything that comes across I dive into and delve into. So that's in my mind. I'm a very spiritual person, so my own practice that way, it comes into mind. And so there's a lot of different things that come together for me where it just isn't just about the painting.